Conservation of linear momentum when this system has no net force. Right. So if in a system net force is 0, then total linear momentum is conserved. Because dp by dt is 0, that means momentum has to be constant. So जब भी हम linear momentum conserve करेंगे, we always have to use the velocities with respect to earth only. In the question, sometimes it's given that bullet is fired with relative velocity of 10 meter per second or 100 meter per second. But in the equation, when we have to apply m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2, that total momentum has to be always, velocity has to be always used with respect to earth or with respect to the reference inertial frame of reference. So for example, gun of mass capital M and a bullet is fired. Initially it was stationary, so there is no initial momentum. Finally it comes. So if the bullet comes out with the velocity v1, and that v1 should be with respect to earth. So m1 coming out with velocity v1, m2 is coming backwards with the velocity v2, also called as recoil speed of gun or recoil of gun. So m1 v1 minus m2 v2 is the final momentum and initial momentum is 0. So initial momentum ke equal hona chahiye. That's why m1 v1 should be equal to m2 v2. So that is the v1 and v2 are their original velocities with respect to the earth. If suppose velocity is given with respect to the gun, so this is v1 velocity is here with respect to earth, v2 velocity is with respect to earth. If v2 is v1 velocity is with respect to the gun, so bullet is fired from a gun and the relative velocity with respect to gun is, so this is coming out with v1, but this v1 is not the actual velocity. This velocity is with respect to gun, and this is going opposite with the velocity of. So now when we have to calculate the actual velocity, so velocity of bullet will be equal to velocity of bullet with respect to gun plus velocity of gun. Something like this we did in relative motion. So bullet की gun के respect में velocity है v1, but positive direction में, so plus v1. Velocity of gun is in opposite direction, so that is minus v2. ये आ गई velocity of bullet with respect to earth. So जब हम momentum conservation use करेंगे, by the conservation of linear momentum, we will use the bullet velocity as m1 into v1 minus v2. This is the velocity of the bullet. So momentum of bullet should be exactly equal to the momentum of gun. And now we can solve. So m1 v1 is m1 plus m2 times. दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है? बस पहले वाले में जो वेलोसिटी बुलेट की थी वो विद रिस्पेक्ट टू अर्थ थी. सेकंड वाले में दैट वेलोसिटी इज गिवन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द गन. सो वी विल फाइंड फर्स्ट its actual velocity and then we will calculate. So v2 is m1 divided by m1 plus m2 times v1. Same cases for the explosion of bomb, and same cases for firing of shell from a cannon. Exactly same case, but usually in the cannon the barrel is also inclined at an angle theta. Suppose in the cannon the barrel is making an angle theta with the ground, with the horizontal. So when the shell comes out, m1 with velocity v1, it will also be coming out at an angle theta, and the cannon has mass m2, because of which it will acquire a backward again muzzle speed. Momentum is conserved but only in x direction. So separately in x and y direction also we can conserve the momentum. There is no net force in x direction because x mein the equal and opposite force will be applied by the coil on the gun and on the cannon and on the shell. No net force in x direction, so they cancel out each other. X direction velocity for the shell is v1 cos theta. So m1 V1 cos theta is equal to capital M2 V2. Again, if this V1 is with respect to the shell, with respect to the cannon, तो हम उसको V1 cos theta minus V2 लेंगे. This is with respect to Earth. Third case is explosion of bomb. Fourth case is explosion of bomb. So if any bomb which is kept in a state of rest by the explosion and it breaks into multiple pieces, since initially it was in a state of rest, during explosion, suppose it splits only into two pieces, then their velocities has to be exactly in opposite direction and their momentum must cancel out. This is exactly similar to the gun and the bullet case. M1 V1 has to be equal to M2 V2. Second possibility is that this shell get divided into three pieces. In that case, the total momentum has to be again zero. Total momentum zero means the resultant of so P1, P2, and P3. There are three masses. If it splits into three, so practically it will be in infinitely many. But hypothetically, if we assume, suppose if it splits only into the three pieces, since initially it was at the state of rest, so its final momentum of P1 plus P2 plus P3 is going to be zero. Solve करने के लिए हम इसको कैसे use करेंगे? We will write the any two momentum summation is always equal and opposite to the third one. So P1 plus P2 का magnitude P3 के equal होगा and direction wise opposite. So P1 square plus P2 square plus 2 P1 P2 times cos theta should be equal to P3. Where P1 is M1 V1, P2 is M2 V2, and P3 is M3 V3. Correct? Okay. So this is the explosion case. First time direction भी निकाल सकते हैं. The direction should be exactly opposite to the third particle. So we can find the direction. Where should the third particle be moving? Exactly opposite to the resultant of P1 and P2, their momentum. So all the cases like collision. Next, number 5. In the case of collision also, the similar case. So if a ball of mass m1 coming with velocity v1 and it collides with the another ball of mass m2 which is in a state of rest, after collision m2 starts moving with velocity v2 and m1 has acquired, this was u1 initially, and final velocities are v1 and v2. Because during the collision they will apply equal and opposite force on each other, so net force is always zero. During collision, there will be forces exerted by m1 on m2 and m2 on m1, and they both will cancel out each other. So net force is zero. That's why initial momentum is equal to total final momentum m1 v1 plus m2. Yeah. Number 7. तो ऐसे जितने भी केसेस होंगे हम सारे केसेस में वी विल यूज दैट मोमेंटम कंजर्वेशन, इनिशियल मोमेंटम. बट जितने भी कोलिजन वाले, जितने मोमेंटम कंजर्वेशन वाले केसेस होते हैं, उनमें अगर हम एक पार्टिकल को देखें ओनली ऑन m1 और ओनली ऑन m2, तो उसमें क्या हो रहा है? इट हैज सम फोर्स एक्टिंग एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट फोर्स एक्टिंग फॉर अ शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, जितने टाइम तक वो कांटेक्ट में रहेंगे, ओनली फॉर दैट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम this force is causing the change in momentum. It was initially moving with m1 u1 and now finally it became m1 v1. So this is called sudden change in momentum caused by the large force is defined as impulse. So impulse इसमें दोनों पे लग रहा है. m1 पे impulse लग रहा है because of that collision force, m2 पे impulse लग रहा है because of that collision force. As a result, जब whole हम system में लेंगे तो system का total momentum will come out to be conserved. So next case is impulse. Impulse is what? Impulse is the sudden change in momentum which is provided by the large force or impulsive force for a short period of time. The word impulse is basically used for the large force, like when we hit ball by bat or something, then it is a impulse. So dp is fdt. Suppose that force acts for time t, so we'll integrate this for time t, 0 to t fdt, and here it is dp, so initial momentum find to final momentum, p1 to p2. Left hand side become p2 minus p1, 0 to t f dt, and that is called impulse. Usually we denote it by j. So impulse j is change in momentum, which is also equal to 0 to t integration of f dt. Why it is integration? Because जो force लगता है collision में वो constant force नहीं होता. जब body ने touch किया just, then force was 0, and with time and compresses the force increases, and then when they separate, so this type of force will be of any impulsive force. But अगर हम उसको constant मान लेते हैं थोड़ी देर के लिए, then we will call it as average force. So impulse, which is change in momentum, will also be equal to average force into time of collision or time of contact for any such case. Integration is also equal to area. So अगर force और time का graph है तो हम उसके अंदर का area निकाल के we can again find out. So change in momentum, area under force time graph. FT graph, area gives change in momentum. Change in momentum is m into v minus u. V is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, m into v. So this is vectorially v minus u is equal to area under the force versus time graph, or integration of f dt, or average force multiplied by time. किसी भी तरीके से हम calculate करें, it should always give the change in momentum or impulse. Area under force time graph, and which is equal to average force multiplied by total time of impact. Right? Okay. ठीक है, so हम थोड़े से questions करके देख लेते हैं based on this concept. Yeah, question number 9. The body of mass 5 kg is acted by a force of F which varies with time as shown. Then the momentum gained by the body at the end of 10 seconds. So we'll calculate the area under this because it is a force time graph. So area under FT graph will be the change in momentum. ठीक है, तो वो आप directly calculate कर सकते हैं from force time graph.
140.
140, correct. ठीक है. So it's a similar kind of. Question number 35. The position time graph of a particle of mass 0.1 kg is as shown. Find the impulse at time t is equal to 2 seconds. अब position time graph से impulse कैसे calculate करेंगे? इसका area तो impulse नहीं होगा. What we do here is at time t is equal to 2 seconds, we can see xt graph slope is changing. xt graph का slope होता है velocity. So 2 से पहले ये straight line है, उसका slope निकाल लेंगे. Then we get initial velocity. 2 के बाद में ये constant line हो गई. So that velocity slope is 0. So velocity is 0. Now we can calculate impulse as change in momentum, and change in momentum is m into v minus. So ft graph होगा तो एरिया से निकालेंगे. xt graph है तो जिस भी पॉइंट पे सडन चेंज इन वेलोसिटी होगी, दैट पॉइंट it is having the impulse. So time t is equal to 2 seconds. Just before and just after there is change in momentum, and that causes the impulse. Okay. ठीक है, I think now we can question number 83. This conservation of law of conservation of linear momentum. A 5 kg shell kept at rest suddenly splits up into three parts. The two parts of mass 2 kg each are found flying due north and due east with a velocity of 5 meter per second each. What is the velocity of third particle after the collision?
C.
So एक जा रहा है इसमें नॉर्थ की तरफ, दूसरा ईस्ट की तरफ, दोनों का मोमेंटम है 5 into 2, so that is 10 meter 10 kg 10 kg. Resultant आ जाएगा 10 root 2 and
Yes,
this
sir.
is
C.
northeast. So the third particle is having mass of 1 kg, 1 kg v dash. So 1 into v dash is the momentum of third particle, will be equal to 10 root 2. So it should be 10 root 2 and the direction should be exactly opposite, so that is southwest. Yeah, question number 84 is also on the similar concept. A shell of mass 100 gram moving the speed of 50 meter per second along a straight line inclined at angle of tan inverse 4 by 3 to the horizontal burst into two pieces. The piece of mass 60 kg starts moving horizontally with a speed 50. The other piece will move. So initially it is not at rest. Here the shell was already moving and now it is split into two parts. Question number 84. Concept is same, but situation is different here. It is not at rest. It is also initially moving, and therefore it will be having initial momentum as well as very nice. 84 आंसर आया किसी का?
Sir. B.
B.
Yes, sir.
Ananya 84.
No, I'm just doing it. One second.
Right. A shell of mass 100 gram
Yes, so
moving
B.
B, 100
50 meter per second along a
Wow.
straight line inclined an angle of tan inverse 4 by 3 splits into two pieces. The piece of mass 40 gram and starts moving horizontally. So because of the explosion, there is a mass. This is 100 gram, and now it is 60 gram. Starts moving horizontally with a speed of 50 meter per second. So the other one 41. So इसमें हम क्या करेंगे? The other particle, we don't know it is going vertically up or vertically downwards. So हम इसके दो component assume कर लेंगे. This is V1 and V2, and then we have to write the separate momentum conservation in x direction and y direction. Because उसके पास कुछ भी हो सकता है. It might be moving along the vertical only, or it might be moving along some angle. So momentum conservation in x direction, initial and final, has to be equal. Initially it is 100 into v times cos theta is equal to 60 into 50 plus 40 into v1. We don't know that is there a velocity in x direction or not for the 40 gram mass, so we'll have to assume that it already had, and then we will solve, and then so 100 velocity was 50. Tan theta is 4 by 3, so cos theta will be 3 by 5 is equal to plus 40 times. Now it came out that v1 is 0. हम इसको directly नहीं बोल सकते. We have to calculate and we have to show that yes, x component velocity is 0. So the other particle will be moving in vertically. Vertically upward or downward, I think that part is not clear from the question. So 40 times v2 is equal to 100 into v sin theta. 4 by 5, so 10, and 40 gone, so v2 will be 100. So it is moving with 100 meter per second, vertically upward or downward, that depends upon the initial motion. Initially it is going above the horizontal or below the horizontal, that was not given in the question. Right, so next आप इसके questions करेंगे. Next concept is the pseudo force. Pseudo force concept is used when a body is inside a non-inertial frame of reference. Non-inertial frame of reference means accelerating frame of reference, accelerated or retarded. In any such frame of reference, we experience another force when we are inside the reference, inside that frame. This force is not applied, this force is felt inside the system. Just like when car is accelerated or bus is accelerated, our body leans backward, and that is because of the pseudo force only. But that force does not exist for the person who is not in the bus. So that's why it is called pseudo force, because it is not a real force. No one applied this. राइट ओके सो स्यूडो फोर्स हमेशा लगता है किसी भी ऐसे फ्रेम में जैसे कार में आगे की तरफ जा रही है, कार इज एक्सीलरेटेड, सो बिकॉज ऑफ द फ्रेम ऑफ रेफरेंस चेंज. अगर हम अर्थ पे खड़े होकर देखते हैं, अ पर्सन इज स्टैंडिंग ऑन द अर्थ, उसको क्या लगेगा, दिस बॉक्स, देयर इज सम बॉक्स ऑफ मास m which is inside the car, is moving with the car also in the same direction. So net force with respect to the person on earth is F is equal to ma. With respect to A or with respect to earth, the net force on the man is ma. On this block is m into A. But when we say the same question to the person who is inside, for him the block is stationary, it's not moving, it's on the floor of the car, it is at rest. So this is equation of motion according to Newton's second law, because for A this box is in motion with the car with the same acceleration as the car is moving. Same motion when we observe with respect to B. With respect to B, the car, the box is at rest in with respect to the. So there must be one more force which should be balancing the external force. The force which is causing the acceleration of this box, it is some friction force from the ground or something, because of which it is moving. If suppose this is in a state of rest, that means exactly equal and opposite amount of force is required to keep this stationary. So the pseudo force plus external force, so total should be 0. So from here we get that pseudo force should always be equal to the magnitude of external force and in opposite direction. So pseudo force का formula भी same आ जाएगा, m into a, but direction wise it is opposite. So minus sign represent that it is opposite to the acceleration of the frame. If car is accelerated तो पीछे की तरफ, if car is retarded तो आगे की तरफ. Acceleration of frame of reference. अब frame change करने से फायदा क्या होता है, जब हम with respect to B यानी with respect to car आ जाएंगे, With respect to car, now car is stationary. That is not the actual motion. Actual motion तो जो ground पे खड़ा उसको दिखेगा, and for him, car is moving. Right? For him, the car is in motion. But for me, car is not moving. Car is in a state of rest. So we can apply this concept for finding the force required or finding the. So another type of question is like this is some platform kept on a perfectly smooth surface, inflation theta. और इसके ऊपर हमने एक बॉक्स रख दिया. There is a box of mass m kept on it, small m and capital M. So situation ऐसा भी कुछ वैसे ही बन गई, like this box is like the box in the car, and this the wedge, the platform is like the car. So when car is accelerated, कार के अंदर जो भी होगा उस पर pseudo force रहेगा पीछे की तरफ. So likewise, when this platform or this wedge is accelerated because of the force, हमने force लगाया है wedge पे, wedge will be accelerated, लेकिन wedge के ऊपर block रखा है, so that block is also going to be accelerated. But the box is on the frame, so because of that, this is the with respect to Earth. With respect to Earth, where we observe this motion, these are the forces. Then we see the same motion with respect to the platform. So if we are in the platform appears at rest. With respect to that wedge, forces are pseudo force एक extra add हो गया और बाकी जो forces थे वो तो लग ही रहे. एक mg लग रहा था नीचे की तरफ और एक ऊपर की तरफ. Now question here is, what should be the force applied by the external force so that the block does not slip while this is perfectly smooth? अगर आप force नहीं लगाएंगे तब तो ये गिर ही जाएगा नीचे because of its own gravity. Block does not slip on the wedge. So इसके लिए logic क्या है that it is not slipping downwards. That means the forces along the wedge is balancing each other. mg sin theta is along the plane और ma का cos theta component आएगा ऊपर की तरफ. So ma cos theta, and similarly perpendicularly it is ma sin theta plus mg cos theta. ma sin theta plus mg cos theta. So along the plane these are balancing each other. mg sin theta should be balanced by ma cos theta. A should be equal to g tan theta. A निकाल लेते हैं. For this whole system, what is A? Acceleration is total force, क्योंकि जो बाकी forces लग रहे होंगे n और n वो cancel out हो जाएंगे. Normal reaction mg नीचे की तरफ लगेगा, so that mg has nothing to do with the horizontal acceleration. A is capital F divided by m plus n. So total force that is required, we will, so that the block should not slip, is capital M plus small m times g tan theta. Another question, what is the normal reaction acting on the block then? Normal reaction आ जाएगा ma cos theta, ma sin theta plus mg cos theta, and then we can substitute the value of g to solve. Calculate the normal reaction from the surface of the wedge. It will be ma sin theta plus mg cos theta. And since a is equal to g tan theta, Sin square plus cos square is 1, so it is mg by cos theta. It's not mg cos theta, which is usually given in the first option. Right? So likewise we can solve. So इसमें हम कुछ
सर
क्वेश्चन
यहाँ पे cos स्क्वायर थीटा कैसे आया?
एलसीएम लेके ये इधर का
ओके
cos था
ओके
नीचे
ओके
किसने
या गॉट इट गॉट इट गॉट इट गॉट इट।
इसको हम डायरेक्टली ग्राउंड के फ्रेम से करते तो भी कर सकते थे. इन द फ्रेम ऑफ द ग्राउंड इसमें जो फोर्सेस लग रहा है वो एक n और दूसरा mg. The block FBD with respect to earth. Theta 90 minus theta. So इस केस में क्या लिखते हैं हम n sin theta and n cos theta. Since the block is stationary, जितना ऊपर फोर्स लग रहा है उतना नीचे की तरफ लग रहा होगा. n cos theta is mg, so ये डायरेक्टली एक स्टेप में जाता है n is equal to mg upon cos theta. दूसरी इक्वेशन लिख सकते हैं n sin theta is equal to small m into a. एक ही बॉडी के मोशन को हम दो अलग अलग फ्रेम से ऑब्जर्व करेंगे. इक्वेशंस बड़े डिफरेंट हो बट द रिजल्ट विल बी सेम. Okay, so I'm just using few more questions on the same concept, like pseudo force included with the friction and pulley. लिफ्ट के केस में वैसे होता है, अगर लिफ्ट ऊपर की तरफ जा रही हो, लिफ्ट इज एक्सेलरेटिंग अपवर्ड्स, उसके अंदर जो ब्लॉक रखा है उस पर pseudo force नीचे की तरफ लगेगा, g mg plus ma. So in the lift accelerating upwards, the g effective becomes g plus a. If the lift is going up, accelerating up, the effective acceleration due to gravity becomes g plus a. If lift is accelerating downwards, then it will become g minus a. तो जैसे हमें अंदर कितना वेट है या कितना नॉर्मल रिएक्शन लग रहा होगा, that will be again included by calculated by including the pseudo force. Suppose in the lift, now there is a pulley. It is going upward with acceleration of a naught. Find the acceleration of blocks. Will it be same? First question, will it be same? Let's same in magnitude. Will the acceleration of the blocks will be same or different?
सर रिलेटिव सेम होगी पर वैसे डिफरेंट होगी.
Relative same होगी but right. So relative हम इसकी लिफ्ट में फ्रेम में जाएंगे. With respect to lift, दोनों में जो फोर्स लग रहा था mg, that will change. It will become m1 times g plus a naught, और ये आ जाएगा m2 times g plus a naught. Now with respect to the lift और with respect to pulley, जितने एक्सेलरेशन से ऊपर जा रहा होगा उतने एक्सेलरेशन से दूसरा नीचे. AR is relative acceleration with respect to pulley. पुली रेस्ट में होगी जब लिफ्ट रेस्ट में होगी बिकॉज दे बोथ आर अटैच्ड। तो इसके लिए जो हमने केस किया था सिमिलर, नेट पुलिंग फोर्स m2 माइनस m1 टाइम्स g प्लस a नॉट, ये नेट पुलिंग फोर्स आ गया डिवाइडेड बाय टोटल मास। एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ ब्लॉक m1, असली वाला एक्सेलरेशन अगर निकालना है हमें, एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ m1 असली का मतलब विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ग्राउंड और विद रिस्पेक्ट टू अर्थ। Acceleration of m1 is m1 with respect to lift plus acceleration of lift। तो ये भी ऊपर की तरफ जा रहा है और लिफ्ट भी ऊपर की तरफ जा रही है, it will become ar plus a naught upwards। Similarly m2 का acceleration निकालोगे acceleration of m2 with respect to lift plus acceleration of lift and that become ar minus a naught downwards। So with the help of this pseudo force, question becomes quite easy।
सर
हाँ बेटा
सर डाउट है प्रीवियस स्लाइड में।
बोलो।
सर इसमें जो आपने नॉर्मल रिएक्शन के कंपोनेंट्स निकाले हैं सर, इससे वैल्यूज अलग नहीं आएगी? लाइक अगर हमने नॉर्मल रिएक्शन के बजाय हमने एम जी कंपोनेंट्स निकाल दिए तो आंसर आता है एन इक्वल एम जी कॉस थीटा, बट इसमें आ रहा है एन कॉस थीटा इक्वल एम जी, तो इससे नॉर्मल रिएक्शन की वैल्यूज अलग नहीं आएंगी?
नहीं आ रही है, इससे भी एम जी बाई कॉस थीटा ही आई थी।
सर जब नॉर्मली जब हम एम जी कंपोनेंट्स निकालते हैं, एम जी कॉस थीटा और एम जी साइन थीटा,
हम एम जी कंपेयर नहीं करेंगे ना, क्योंकि हम तो मोशन एक्स में और वाई में, सो हमें एक्स और वाई के डायरेक्शन में कंपोनेंट करने हैं, एम जी कंपोनेंट तो अलग हो जाएंगे। दिस वेज और ब्लॉक इज मूविंग इन हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन, तो हमें उसी डायरेक्शन में कंपोनेंट करना।
चलिए मोशन, ठीक है सर।
गॉट इट?
यस सर।
What should be acceleration given to this platform wedge? So that the blocks do not slip. All surfaces are perfectly smooth. Try. पहले हम पूरे का सिस्टम एज्यूम कर लेते हैं। सेम लॉजिक, कैलकुलेट द एक्सेलरेशन, फोर्स अपॉन
m2 अपॉन m1। अच्छा नहीं, रुको मैंने गलत बता दिया थोड़ा।
फोर्स अपॉन टोटल मास। अब अगर हम आ जाते हैं इस फ्रेम के अंदर, इन दैट फ्रेम, इन दिस बिगर ब्लॉक फ्रेम, ये तो रेस्ट में है, बट इसके ऊपर जो ये ब्लॉक्स है इन पे लग रहा होगा कुछ स्यूडो फोर्स। एक्सेलरेशन के अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में m1a, एक्सेलरेशन के अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में m2a, नीचे की तरफ m2g, यहाँ कुछ नॉर्मल डायरेक्शन। Now on this string, both the ends are pulled by force. One side M2G लग रहा है, ऊपर के side M1A लग रहा है. Since this block is not moving, so net pulling force must be 0. A की वैल्यू होनी चाहिए M2 by M1 times G. इन दोनों को इक्वेट कर देंगे, we get the force. Yes, Vriti.
Yes, sir.
Vriti, understood?
Yes, sir.
सर
बोलो हर्ष.
सर एक डाउट था सर इसमें सर, अगर जैसे सर जो ये रोप है अगर हम लोग इसको इस ब्लॉक के किसी कॉर्नर से बांध के रखते तब क्या होता, तब भी यही होता?
कॉर्नर से बांध के ऐसे रखते हैं, मतलब
तो जैसे अभी तो सेंटर से बांधा है ना, अटैच किया है.
नहीं बांधा कहीं से नहीं, वो रखा हुआ है बस.
नहीं सर M2 की बात कर रहे हैं सर. M2 में जो ऊपर रोप है अगर उसको किसी एक कॉर्नर से अटैच करके रखते तो क्या होता?
ऐसे करें
जी
तो फिर वो रोटेट होने लग जाएगा, फिर उसमें एक रोटेशन इक्विलिब्रियम की. सेंटर से इसलिए लगाते हैं कि ग्रेविटी का फिर टॉर्क नहीं लगेगा, ग्रेविटी का टॉर्क नहीं लगेगा तो वो रोटेट नहीं होगी.
ओके. यस सर गॉट.
ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चंस आप करेंगे अभी. बस एक 2 ब्लॉक फ्रिक्शन बचा हुआ है, रेस्ट आई थिंक वी हैव डन. सर्कुलर मोशन इज आल्सो लेफ्ट. नेक्स्ट इज 2 ब्लॉक फ्रिक्शन. सो अ बिगर ब्लॉक M1, उसके ऊपर एक छोटा सा रखा हुआ है M2. जस्ट
सर आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही है।
Yeah. Okay. So if suppose in this system we have applied a force on the lower block और हमें पता करना है कि ये दोनों का एक्सेलरेशन क्या है, दे बोथ आर मूविंग टुगेदर तो जब ये दोनों साथ चल रहे होंगे, दे आर नॉट स्लिपिंग ऑन ईच अदर, दैट मींस द फ्रिक्शन इज
1
स्टैटिक.
plus m2 into Eg. So since both the blocks are moving together, we can consider them as the same block. नीचे वाले पे फोर्स लगाओगे, ग्राउंड इज स्मूथ, m1 पे पीछे की तरफ फोर्स लगेगा फ्रिक्शन और m2 पे आगे की तरफ, बिकॉज दे आर एक्शन रिएक्शन फोर्स. बट दिस फ्रिक्शन फोर्स इज स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन फोर्स, वी डोंट नो इट्स वैल्यू. हमने ये अज्यूम कर लिया कि दोनों एक ही ब्लॉक है, क्योंकि दोनों साथ में चल रहे हैं. देयर एक्सेलरेशन इज ऑलवेज टुगेदर सेम. Equation for m2, it has only one force Fr, and because of that force the block is moving. So friction की वैल्यू हम इस इक्वेशन से कैलकुलेट करेंगे. We will not calculate by mu into n or something. And now this friction value, we need to make sure that this is an available friction, or this should be less than or equal to mu times n. थोड़ा मेरे गले में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो गई है एकदम से. I hope it is audible. Yeah. So acceleration for both the blocks will be f by mn plus m2. Reason being, both the blocks are moving together. That's given in the question. They are not slipping on each other, means they are moving together. So ऐसे क्वेश्चन में हम डायरेक्टली फ्रिक्शन की वजह से ही m2 का m1 पे ग्रिपिंग है. There is no other force, there is no other connection. Now this friction should be static friction force, और static friction force की वैल्यू होती है हमेशा less than mu times n. N on that surface where friction is acting is equal to M2G. So condition for no slipping. नो स्लिपिंग का मतलब अगर दोनों बॉडीज के बीच में स्लिपिंग नहीं हो रही है, दोनों एक दूसरे के रेस्पेक्ट में रेस्ट पे है, एंड देन इट इज शुड बी लेस देन इक्वल टू म्यू टाइम्स एन. So m2 times f divided by m1 plus m2 है, इसकी वैल्यू होनी चाहिए लेस देन और इक्वल टू म्यू टाइम्स m2g से. m2 m2 गॉन. सो अगर हमने इस ब्लॉक पे नीचे वाले सरफेस पे नीचे वाले ब्लॉक पे फोर्स लगाया म्यू m1 plus m2g या से कम, in that case both the blocks will be moving together and they both will have acceleration of f upon m1 plus m2. Acceleration of each block, both will have same acceleration and that will be f divided by m1 plus m2. Right? अगर f की वैल्यू से ज्यादा बड़ी हो गई, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल क्वेश्चन लेते हैं, let's say f is 200, m1 is 10 kg and m2 is 15 kg. mu is 0.4. So ऐसे क्वेश्चन में पहले हमें चेक करना होगा व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ म्यू इनटू m1 plus m2g. Mu into m1 plus m2g is how much? Mu is 0.4, m1 plus m2 is 25 into g is 10. That become 100 Newton. हमने जो फोर्स लगाया वो 200 है, so F is strictly greater than mu times m1 plus m2g. That means both the blocks cannot move together. If they are not moving together means their acceleration is different. First one is suppose moving with a1, second one is moving with a2. Friction will be kinetic in nature. और kinetic friction की वैल्यू हमेशा फिक्स होती है, that kinetic friction is mu times n. Separate values अगर given नहीं होंगी then it will be mu only. So it is mu times m2g. Mu is 0.4 into 10 into 10. So that is 40 Newton. अब दोनों ब्लॉक पे फिक्स फ्रिक्शन लग रहा होगा and that friction value is constant as 40 Newton. Equation for m1 will come out that fr is equal to m1 a1 और ये fr कौन सा हो गया? Kinetic वाला. So this is 40 is equal to 10 times a1, इसलिए a1 की वैल्यू आ जाएगी 4 मीटर पर सेकंड स्क्वायर. So ऊपर वाला ब्लॉक 4 मीटर पर सेकंड मूव कर रहा है. Equation for m2, the lower one, इस पे आगे f पीछे फ्रिक्शन f minus fr should be equal to m2 a2. f लगाया 200, friction is 40 and that is equal to 15 times a2. So आगे 225 by 196, 160 by 15. What is the answer? A2 will be equal to 160 divided by 15. तो भी आएगा सब. 10.66 meter per second square. इसमें इन दोनों का एक्सेलरेशन डिफरेंट है. Why? Because the force applied is greater than mu times m1 plus m2g. So जब भी हम questions करेंगे these type of questions, we'll have to first check the condition. बेटा समझ में आया क्या क्या है इसमें? In these type of questions when there are two blocks, पहले हम दोनों को एक साथ एक block assume करके ये assume करेंगे कि कितना maximum force लगेगा, then blocks will be moving together. We'll calculate that friction, that force for which both the blocks are moving together. Since they are moving together, उनको एक block assume करके हम system का acceleration निकालेंगे. फिर उस acceleration से ऊपर वाली body पे कितना force चाहिए? This is the friction required. ये जो FR की वैल्यू है ये आई है फ्रिक्शन रिक्वायर्ड so that block can move together. Friction available कितना है? वो होता है mu times n. So we'll check whether that much friction is available or not. If it is available, then both the blocks will be moving together. Otherwise, they will be moving separately with different acceleration, like in the second example. Exactly same scenario होगा अगर force नीचे की जगह पे ऊपर लगाते हैं. If the force is applied on the upper block, not on the lower block. So suppose this is 150 Newton. M1 is 10 kg, M2 is 15 kg, and mu is 0.456 कुछ भी 6 ले लेते हैं इस बार. Now we need to find whether they find the acceleration of each block. So पहला step हम assume ही कर लेंगे always. We assume that they are moving together. कि इसके लिए हमें condition नहीं पता है, so obviously condition याद भी नहीं कर सकते. So assume that blocks move together. साथ move कर रहे हैं मतलब दोनों का acceleration same होगा. Acceleration will be F divided by m1 plus m2. This should be 150 divided by 25, 6 meter per second square. अब इसमें ऊपर वाले पे फोर्स राइट में लगाया, फ्रिक्शन लेफ्ट में लगेगा, और नीचे वाले पे वही फ्रिक्शन राइट में लगेगा बिकॉज इट इज एक्शन रिएक्शन पे. इक्वेशन फॉर मोशन ऑफ m2, उस पे क्या लिखिए, फोर्स लग रहा है Fr एंड Fr इज इक्वल टू m2 टाइम से 15 into 6 which is 19. मैक्सिमम फ्रिक्शन कितना है? Fr max is equal to mu times n which is mu times m1g 0.6 into 10 into 10 which is 60 Newton. फ्रिक्शन चाहिए कितना? 90 न्यूटन दोनों को साथ मूव कराने के लिए, और मैक्सिमम फ्रिक्शन अवेलेबल कितना है? 60 न्यूटन. सो जो हमने अज्यूम किया है दैट बोथ द ब्लॉक्स विल मूव टुगेदर, अज्यूम ब्लॉक्स मूव टुगेदर, दैट इज अ रॉन्ग अजम्पशन. ब्लॉक्स, both the blocks cannot move together because साथ चलाने के लिए जितना फ्रिक्शन चाहिए उतना फ्रिक्शन अवेलेबल नहीं है. बेटा मेथड समझ आ रहा है?
Yes,
ये
sir.
जनरलाइज अप्रोच है क्योंकि हमें कंडीशन, जैसे पिछले की तो हमने कंडीशन निकाली है फिजिकल टू म्यू टाइम्स m1 प्लस m2g, बट ये कंडीशन याद नहीं रहेगी, ये क्वेश्चन टू क्वेश्चन चेंज हो जाएगी. अगर वो साथ नहीं चल रहे हैं, स्लिप कर रहे हैं, मींस फ्रिक्शन हो जाएगा काइनेटिक फ्रिक्शन, और काइनेटिक फ्रिक्शन की वैल्यू म्यू टाइम्स n. अगर म्यू की वैल्यू सेपरेटली गिवन होगी तो हम उसको यूज कर लेंगे. सो सपोज दिस इज म्यू s and mu k is given as 0.5. So now when we calculate the friction, we are using mu k 0.5 into 10 into 10 which is 50 Newton. So F minus Fk is equal to m1 a1. F हमने लगाया था कितना? That force is 150 minus 50 is equal to 10 times a1. Equation for m2, that kinetic friction Fk should be equal to m2 times a2. Friction था 50 और इसका है 15. 50 by 15 or 10 by 3 meter per second square. So likewise we can solve for any two block system. Approach wise पहले हम दोनों को assume करेंगे they are moving together. When they are moving together, then we will calculate the acceleration of both considering as a single body. उतने उसके लिए क्या friction चाहिए, that we will calculate. That friction is available or not, then we will compare with that acceleration friction. ठीक है. So ये हमने laws of motion chapter complete कर लिया है. इसमें कुछ खास नहीं है अभी. This is done. जो circular motion का part है वो हम rotation में साथ साथ कर लेंगे. So next class we will do work energy. Next class means tomorrow, same time around 10:20 or something. ठीक है. चलो. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
please send the PDF.
थैंक यू
हाँ
सर।
बेटा.